ready.
S-D-P, the Steve Dangle Podcast. With your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and
Sounds
Jesse
like a you
Blake.
problem.
It sounds like Steve's got an issue.
The headphones they're here. Where are they?
I don't know.
Well, do we have to look under the desk?
Nah,
Or?
I think we should just let me sit in my mess.
You know, Steve, I know you're new at this. But you do want to do an equipment check. Oh, did Jesse have them? Did Jesse have them?
They were. I switched.
Hey.
We're good.
There we go.
We're good. I'll take
Well,
these ones. You take those ones.
The great thing about it is that we can hear you.
Yep.
We're right here.
yeah.
Oh, this is way
Headphones
better.
Matter though.
They do.
I can hear myself loud. I love hearing myself.
You should know when you're talking in the microphone.
Yeah. So a little bit later, we're going to unpack Steve in Halifax and the journey that was. But I do want to say that he is wearing, if you can't see it, he's wearing a Mooseheads jersey right now. So you went to the team store.
Yeah, know the facts. Actually, this is free stuff.
Oh, somebody gave you a Mooseheads?
Someone gave me a Moosehead.
Because you were telling me on like before, you were like, I think I'll go down to the team store and buy a jersey. And they
Nope.
bought you one?
Someone gave me a Mooseheads jersey and 2 stuffies, one for each kid.
Wow.
Done and dusted. I don't
That's
have to
great.
go anywhere.
Christmas presents from listeners.
Straight to the bar.
I want to say
What about
that,
your wife?
She didn't want anything from Halifax.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Did you ask her?
Yeah.
No.
If
I know her like that.
If we asked Mrs. Dangle right now, hey, would you have liked a little trinket from Halifax? She would
No.
say no.
We've been through this. I married Adam. She hates trinkets.
Yeah.
She-
Hates things.
Whenever I bring things into the house,
Yeah.
like she's like angered by the love. And I'm like, but I love. And she's like, incorrect.
What about some like fresh fish?
Yeah, no, she doesn't like fish.
No, nothing.
No.
Nothing in the world.
Not even a
That's it.
cow's ice cream
Nothing.
t-shirt?
Oh yeah, I'll just put that in my suitcase. Oh, a
He
t-shirt.
said he
Yeah,
finished
not
his
cow's
sentence.
ice cream.
He
No,
fin-
Cow's ice cream
if you let him finish
No,
his
sh-
sentence, he said t-shirt.
Because they
No.
always like take cool, famous albums and they make them
No,
with the cows and ice cream.
She married a guy twice her size, so she just takes all my shirts. For the
All right.
She's good.
I think we're gonna
She's
check in.
good. She's taken care of. And delirious because she has 2 kids.
Kingston Frontenac's December 8th. It's links in the description. Or you can just go to the front store, check it out. You get the pregame bundle or just the game bundle. Either way, we're going to see you at the Caesar Company afterwards. We're very excited about that live show. And all the SDPN peeps will be sitting in the same section, which I kind of like this time. Because last year was all spread around, but now we're all going to be together.
And we have another live show to announce. Kingston. Sorry. I just like getting at them all on guard.
I also want to throw this out there that I did follow through on my pledge from November last week. I did go and do the cold plunge this weekend.
what was that
What
like?
does that mean?
Well, so remember Craig was in here and he was talking about the fact that they do like a Movember cold plunge right at the beach near my house.
Okay.
I was like, oh, I'll go to that. And then I showed up and I think they were like, oh, you did show up. Like there was like 100 people there.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like me by myself and my wife videotaping it and whatever. And I ran in with a bunch of people I didn't know. And you have to spend 60 seconds there in the water up to your shoulders.
Can we play the video?
Well, I
Talk
don't
about.
have it on me. It's on her phone. But yeah, we can play the video. I'll bring it next
Text her.
time. I'll text her.
Good
But yeah.
production, guys.
Yeah, anyway.
I didn't know you were doing
I didn't
this.
think we'd want to like post it or put it on the video on our thing, but I guess we can. But anyway,
Why you
I
brought
want-
it up on the show? It'd
Well,
be
I
good.
just thought it was
and
worth
then for the
mentioning.
context of the show, it'd be nice if you played the video.
yeah, you're right.
I want to see your body.
It was cold.
I want to see your wet body.
It was cold. It was cold. It wasn't so cold that the sand is frozen. You know, when you
Yeah.
go to a beach and
Of course.
the sand is actually frozen. Yeah, it wasn't that, but it was pretty cold.
Has it grown back yet?
What? Oh, that?
Oh, your mustache.
no, the mustache.
Because it shrivels up in
it's
the
good.
cold, your mustache.
We're talking a lot about wives here. So follow-up question about you going to the beach and bring your wife there. Did you tell her that this is where you lost the wedding ring?
Yes. Oh, she knows that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was she traumatized?
No.
Just by being there,
Not at all.
She
I-
got shivers. 'Cause
be
she's
hon-
like, the ring is here somewhere.
She's one of the first people, like outside of you two, that have like been like, well, that's just Adam, about things that are just me, right? Like, you know, there's things that I have been extremely annoying to friends, family, and partners in the past that Steve and Jesse just accept about who I am. Like, oh, that's Adam. So if you like the good parts, you got to accept some of the other parts. And
I think
that's how
Adam-
Natalie is. She's like, well, like I was more disappointed about the wedding ring than she was. She's like, well, get another one.
Nah, that's all acting. I
No,
think you
it's
were
not.
secretly like, it's just another thing I don't have to have.
Yeah. I don't
think
think
I'm
you're
just
disappointed
hating
at all.
I hate stuff so
Yeah,
much.
if we know Adam, he was like, yes.
Yes.
One less thing I have
I
to
hate
have.
having stuff.
I feel
Hate
so
it.
free. Yeah, she was cool with it. But did she strangely often look down and just go,
No, not at all.
No?
Not even a little bit. Nope. So speaking of collecting things, we collected the full set of Nylanders this weekend.
Michael signed too?
Michael signed too. No, we got both Nylanders. Willie tweeted about his brother in 2016. Remember that World Championship? I remember being freaked out because he played a shift, scored a goal, and then got hurt. And then he got run over. I forgot how tough that hit was.
Yeah.
And then he said, I can't wait to do this again sometime. And it took till 2024 in November for the Nylanders to play on the same team together. And they actually played a few shifts, which was pretty cool.
They
Did
did.
the power play.
Yeah.
Because William,
neato.
I can't just call him Nylander, needs to double shift on the power play, and they decided to use the other one's, Alex's good shot. So
I did
he
like
was on the power play.
that they had it perfectly set up where Willie on the breakaway drops to Alex, scores, except he skipped the drop to Alex part. He's just like, nope, I'm going to do this myself.
I don't think you should have.
No. He did the right thing. It just would have been cool, is all I'm saying.
I thought it was interesting. James Myrtle did a little bit of a piece on this, and they talked about Michael Nylander being emotional about Alex being signed, and that's cool. But he said, incredibly, throughout the 107-year history of the league, 47 brothers have played at least one game together for an NHL team. 10 have won a championship together, which means that at least once it was 3 brothers. For it to be an odd number, it can't be a pair. It's got to be a third. 47 brothers have played at least one game together for an NHL team, and I figured that's got to be the Sutter.
No, I think he means 47 pairs of brothers.
47 pairs of brothers?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
maybe
it'd be
that's
like,
the case.
so it'd be like one is Alex and Willie. It's not. That's what I think.
I thought it was just
mean.
like 47 people, and I was like, that is a crazy.
No,
because imagine.
maybe, I don't know. That's how I'm reading it as you're.
Okay, no,
saying
you're
it.
probably right. You're probably right.
Like,
but
I think one instance is Saturday. 2 would be another set.
Yep.
3. That's how I'm reading it. But maybe there's more context in there.
yeah. No, there isn't.
Read the
it
whole
says
thing.
10 have won a championship together, and I wasn't sure. If
Go
that's-
back further in the sentence.
so that's 5.
It's just it says incredibly throughout the 107-year history of the league, 47 have played.
47.
Before that, it's a quote.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah.
I'm
To quote the great Gito Retta when I worked for him, Steve, I don't care what you think. What do you know? What do you know?
Well,
It's okay. And they're going to be the 48th.
they're going to be the
to win a
48th.
cup together.
I guess so. I guess so. It's going to
Or
be
whatever it is.
very, very interesting. And I think last night it would have been nice. It would have been poetic if that backhander shot that went off the post went in for Alex.
Yeah.
I would have really liked that for him, but it would have been poetic for Nick Robertson if either of his posts have
my
gone
Lord.
in. And
Holmberg
too, man.
They hit a lot of
off,
posts.
off the crossbar.
Yeah.
That fooled Ingram or Vamelka, excuse me. And I thought it was interesting looking at the score last night because I was like, that score is not really reflective of what happened here. There was
Utah got outplayed.
Utah got outplayed in the first period. The Leafs got outplayed,
Yep.
but after that, I'm like, there was plenty of chances for the Leafs to make that 4-1, 5-1.
They cut him up bad in the second period. Yep. They held on a bit in the third, but yeah, no, it's Jesse made a great point because now I get to check with Leaf Dad and be like, Dad,
Yeah.
what did you notice about the game before I do LFR? And you're like, well, they sucked in the first period.
Yeah.
And it's because they hadn't played for, 3 or 4 days?
Yeah, so Tavares was the first person to come out after the game and talk to all the reporters there. And the first thing we went to was like, okay, what about that start? You guys really suck to start this game. And he said, yeah, it was hard to get our legs under us after having so many days in between games. Like, they practice, obviously, they practice Saturday. I think they had day off Thursday. They practice Friday. But he said just not having actual NHL games to play, it was hard to all of a sudden on a Sunday night to get up for this game right away. And so it took them mostly that first period. They were really good in the last 2 minutes of that first.
Yeah.
He's like, that's how long it took us to just get back up to speed.
Bodes well for their divisional matchup against Florida on Wednesday, huh?
Yeah. Well,
It's a little different.
yeah.
Well, I mean, but it's they've had a lot of time off. I think that is a factor.
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And Matthews might come back. Like that has the potential to be just a real mess of a game.
Which is why we're streaming it.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. I'll be doing my stream, Gripper Nation, Wednesday night. Anyway. Continue.
Woo! But they find themselves currently, at very least, virtually almost damn near undefeated without Austin Matthews and first place in the Atlantic. Stupid.
Played one less game than Florida, too.
Yes,
that first place.
dude, it's dumb and it's stupid and it's the best. And I don't need, they don't ask how, they ask how many. I'm not asking how at all. I don't need to know.
Well, I thought the TSN panel made a really good point last night when they said
Impossible.
listen, the fact that Marner and Nylander are playing so well, so is Tavares, it's masking some of the issues they're having in the bottom six. And to be fair to the bottom six, they don't have the right personnel there. They're missing a 3C. It's the Marlies.
Like, what are we-
But
The
I'm
third
talking about
line
guys
is
that
literally
started
the Marlies.
Yeah,
The
but I'm
Marlies
talking
line.
about guys that started on the bottom six to start the year. You guys know what I'm talking about. We're talking about your Holmbergs and your Robertsons, and Lorenz hadn't scored in a while, although he had some chances last night.
Lawrence has been great.
Yeah, and I don't think they're expecting him to. And David Kampf wasn't doing well before he was on LTIR in terms of offense or whatever. Where's it going to come from? The fact is, we don't have to think about it right now.
Nope.
I think it's such a non-issue because one thing is when everybody's healthy, this is not what it's going to look like. And I think now that we see all the injuries, especially the Kampf one that came out of nowhere, and he didn't just go on IR, he went on LTIR, so he's not available for 4 weeks. Like he's not going to, or 28 days, so he's not going to play forever. So there was definitely an injury going on there, and they kind of just have one hole to fill. It's kind of just the center position. And now that Marner's been so good by himself, you can spread him out, and maybe if you can spread out Willie, when everybody's healthy, or at least there's more bodies back, maybe it just kind of solves itself.
Marner's been a frigging animal. Like, he's just all around the ice in every situation.
So is this the best hockey we've seen him play?
I think so. I struggle to think of a stretch where he's been better than this. There was a November a few years ago, I bring it up often, but I don't remember what year it was, where it was kind of like this year. He had 2 goals like through a month, and you're like, hey, he should shoot. And then he started to, and he can't stop scoring. He just can't stop scoring.
Yeah.
And he's still setting guys up disgustingly. He's still making, like, by and large, great defensive plays. It's just this year, he's got an edge to his game that just hasn't been there before. I love watching him play.
It's the interesting thing with Marner, like the goals, we can talk about the goals. But for me last night, watching him in the neutral zone strip pucks off of guys, and oftentimes, like there was one time where he stripped the puck and then it went to Connor Timmins, and Connor Timmins didn't do much with it. So it's sort of for most people, that's not going to make a highlight reel, right? Like it's not going to be something that you go back and you think about. But I have been blown away with his board work and with his ability to strip guys, and it's led to goals. And the other guy I've been blown away with on that is Willie, who directly, because he was so hounding a guy so much on defense, was able to score his goal. And I think, not to make it about Willie, Mitch has this, we all knew this was here. And I think it's important that, like you guys said it last year with Jack Campbell, like when he's down, we got to talk about it. But when he's up, we should talk about it too. And Mitch today, and people are like, I already see people online, well, that's all great, but what about the play? All we have is today.
Yep.
And today, it's the best hockey I've seen him play, personally.
You guys never listen to Rihanna? We're young right now.
We also have the past, and we should.
That's not one of the words. That's not the lyric.
We have the past right now.
No.
All we have is the
I hate this remix. Horrible.
I know you guys have short-term memory loss, but in the not too long ago past. In the 22-23 season, Mitch Marner did go on a 23-game point streak.
Yes.
And this thing the Leafs do every November is what they do every November. And that stretch there where he was on the 23-game point streak, where he set the franchise record for the longest point streak in Maple Leafs history, was also a stretch where the Toronto Maple Leafs went from November 11th to December 15th without a regulation loss.
Damn.
It's very similar every single year. So I don't know if this is the best hockey he's ever played. I'd probably reference that time.
Yeah.
Even though that was with Austin. So it's kind of it's different context every single time. It's different year. But that's probably the best hockey he's ever played. But the Leafs also do this every year. Last November, it was Willie's turn to go on this crazy streak in the middle of November during the Sweden trip. And then when they came back, and then he gets the contract in the winter. So with the Leafs, like, awesome. They're doing this again. Let's hope it continues through the winter and into the spring.
And all we have is right now, Jesse.
And do you remember when Marner set the record for the point streak? Do you remember my iconic call on stream?
No.
Yeah, that's because I wasn't streaming that game. I was doing Oilers Habs.
I remember that.
I remember that part. Yeah, you're not happy
man.
that.
No, I was not, and neither was the audience. Oilers and Habs fans were like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah, but that was the hockey night game that weekend, the national one.
That was
Because they were playing the
bosses.
Canucks. I was pissed.
The bosses that be at Sportsnet decided, hey, that's the game you got to stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty cool.
Cool
So
job.
Marner's been electric this season, I think, obviously, and now that we know he has this in him, there's no way you take him away from JT. Like, they got to stay together. John Tavares has also been incredible during this long stretch.
that pass last night was unbelievable.
Prime Eric Carlson.
Yeah. Eric
that was his
Carlson should watch
impression.
that. Be like, hey, I used to do that.
That used to be mine.
Now, beginning of the season, when he was playing terrible, and there are reasons for why he was playing terrible. You know, we carved him pretty good. But I seem to recall before the season, I was like, you know, his shooting percentage was down last year. Like, just wait. Like, there could be a regression here for JT. It could be very good.
Progression
and
a regression to the mean.
Yeah.
regression to the progression.
You can't regress upwards, guys. It's
You can
progress.
regress to the mean.
No.
Upward.
Anyway,
Listen, we shouldn't be giving lessons.
pro
in
means
math,
forward.
Yeah, but
English.
You're regressing
Latin.
Regressing upward.
Just because you're good at numbers doesn't mean you're good at languages, okay?
That's true.
Regress my mean.
amulets.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
First of all, they work.
Yeah.
Does anyone have $250 so I can buy one?
Well, why don't you use the Russell Brand promo code?
You know what's that?
It's a promo code. He's got a promo code. Did
Oh
you not know
yeah,
that?
does he?
Yeah, he does. Anyway.
Moving on.
Weird guy. No, he's been incredible, and I do find it funny though, that it's completely masking a pre-existing issue, which is the rest of the lineup can't really score.
Oh, well.
Like, hey man, the core guys can't do it every night. The core guys do it every night. Nevertheless,
The money is for. Like,
that is 100,000% what the
Mitch
money
Marner
is for.
wants a $15 million contract or whatever. He's living up to it. Like,
Yeah.
goddamn.
Yeah.
The only thing from him last night I didn't like was at the very end.
The backhand.
Well, he couldn't get the puck out, but then he was instrumental in he ended up stealing the puck anyway. And what I hated was for the whole rest of the shift and during the celebration when everyone's happy because they won, he was like angry and beating himself up. Come on, man. Someone's got to pick him up. I think in that case.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
He was also- was he
he
not-
ended up getting the belt.
Was he not mad about an offside leading into that too? That was he thought it was offside, but the Leafs had brought it back in.
All right.
He was yapping at the refs about that.
That was ages ago. You won.
Yeah.
That was back before you got the 2 points.
I honestly didn't hate that he was upset at the end of the game because the last minute and a half, 90 seconds of the game, the Leafs are bad. They almost allowed that goal, and thank God Joseph Wall's pad was in the way.
Yes.
And they couldn't get the puck out of the zone. They really struggled there, and you can't leave that game being like, oh yeah, well, you should leave it like, oh yeah, we won, but you should also look at it and we got to improve in that area.
Well, the Berube had a little bit of Babcock in his first season with Matthews in him last night because he literally has to. Where for the final 5, 4, 3 minutes of the game. All right, here's Alex Steves. Here's Nick Robertson twice. Here's who else was out there? Minton. He was just throwing dudes out there and seeing what worked.
I kind of like that he did that.
Of course.
Try that.
Yeah.
Here you go, boys. Sink or swim. Whoa.
If there's ever a time to try it and figure out can Minton play in the situation, it's now.
Yeah.
In the middle of November.
How do you think they all did, guys? How do you think who did well, who sank, who swam in that situation? You both listen.
do you think?
I thought it was cool. At the end, you have Nylander and Marner, who Babcock and Keefe would have never thrown out in a defensive situation until recently.
I think everyone
Who sank, who swam in the last 3 minutes?
everyone can't be cheering for Nick Robertson hard enough. And boy, last night, that's his whole season. Like, he hit the post. That's him being nervous. I understand. Like, I think the puck is going to start going in for him, and it'll be rocket fuel for him, and he'll be able to ride that for a little bit. Oh, boy, that puck stays there for a while when he's out there sometimes, eh?
What do you mean?
Like, when the puck's in the Leafs' end and he's out there.
They do get hemmed.
Man,
If I'm honest about Nick Robertson, I like his work ethic.
he
but
hustles so hard.
He's working and that's why he's amongst like the top part of the league in terms of penalties drawn.
Yes. Oh,
like
yeah.
guys are always taking penalties on.
Oh shit! No! Shut the fuck up! Shut up! Shut the fuck! You ruined it!
Yeah, Jesse, now we're screwed.
Damn.
Robertson is never drawing a penalty again. Fuck!
All right, continue, Jess.
Well,
There's a reason he's amongst the league leaders in penalties drawn. Is because he's always moving his feet. He's always working. But the skill might not be there. And
Yes.
his hockey sense might not be there. And if I'm pie in the sky dream Leafs lineup, I like the kids that they've brought up in the last week more than Nick Robertson.
Okay.
Like that's just I'm rooting for the kid, like for Nick.
Oh,
but
yeah?
You
you just completely took away his ability to draw penalties. Thanks.
If it's a choice between Minton or Robertson, I probably have Minton there. If it's a choice between like if Reeves is in the lineup on the fourth line and then you want some sort of other skill on the third, like Nick's probably out of there. Even like Grebenkin, he doesn't have the skating to keep up, but you can see the potential's there.
Yeah, waivers, it plays a big factor here
Totally.
as well. God, I'll always root for a player and bet on a player where the effort is there. But
Alex Steves works hard too.
he does.
You know, so I don't know if Nick Robertson has a future on this team beyond this season.
Well, and I guess we got to find out too. The other thing is Alex Nylander signed that contract, and if they decide to send him down, he's got to go through waivers now.
Man, that is
So he better make it work. Otherwise, you're a Penguin again.
I gotta hear. Oh shit!
I'm kidding. He won't
I gotta hear from fans of teams where it didn't work for him. Like I gotta hear from Sabres fans, and that team is terrible.
Chicago.
Blackhawks fans, and that team is terrible. And who else was he?
Columbus is the big one because that's where he lit up.
Terrible.
He lit up the world last season,
great.
and they just decided to let him walk.
He was one of the best goal scorers in the league for about 6 weeks.
Yeah,
like it's
no,
crazy.
no less than that.
Like,
He had 11 goals. Good.
23 games.
Is it 23?
It was 11 goals in 23 games.
That's pretty good.
It was like 4 weeks.
Anyway,
No, 23.
matter. It doesn't
That's a busy month.
You're right.
No,
you're
like,
right.
Because I started watching, clips of him and everything. He's really, really fast. Like there's a lot of Willie in there. Like he's got a good first step. He's not as smooth of a skater, but he's aggressive with it and agile. There's hands there.
He hit the post twice last night.
Yeah, there's hands there. There's a shot there. Like he went 8th overall for a reason, right? Like that wasn't just his last name's Nylander. Put him in the top 10. Why did it work out so well for Willie, and why hasn't it worked out for this guy? Like why did NHL scouting staffs go? There are only 7 better players in this class than him. And it took until last year with the Blue Jackets for him to break out. And then he ends up signing an AHL deal with the Leafs anyway.
Yeah, in his breakout, teams didn't even want him.
Yeah, like
what are we missing?
Well, he turned down deals, but how many deals and how much were they.
No, but like if there was a $3 million deal out there,
He would have taken
it.
Yeah.
You know, like it wasn't good enough. What are we missing?
Well, I think that consistency is an issue, right? You look at the best seasons the guy's had. The longest he's played in the league to date, like in it for a full season, is 2019-2020 with the Hawks, and he had 26 points in 65 games. And then, of course, he had the 15 in Columbus last year. But that ignores the 5 games in Pittsburgh where he got nothing.
Well, and also, like, you look at his AHL numbers, Adam.
And they're good.
They're good.
They're point a game.
Yeah. There isn't a season in there, though, where you're like, this guy's the dreaded too good for this league.
I would imagine some of it comes down to unrealized potential, and some of it comes down to you were in the Buffalo Sabres system, and they haven't graduated much outside of those big first-round picks. They
graduated half the Panthers.
Yeah, okay. All right. But I think that he came to Buffalo at a pretty bad time.
But I'd like to know, like, what's in his game that's lacking. Because I think the shot is there. Like, he looks wicked.
Yeah.
The skating, I think, is there, too.
I think it's all of Willie's deficiencies, but hyper magnified, like on the defensive end of the puck and all that. But I don't know. I don't want to be the guy who 8 years after he's drafted, he's the late bloomer, 26, here it comes.
GMs fall for that all the time.
I know. I don't want to be that guy, but I do watch him, and I'm like, how come this didn't work? Now, none of us were banging the drum for him to get signed after exhibition, because he was a guy out there, Cedric Paré with flash. Like, he didn't do much, right? So, I mean, it's not going to be a terribly long audition. Guys are going to come back.
And they're coming back quickly.
Yeah, so I don't know. Let's see what happens there.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. Now, for the first time in a long time, the Toronto Maple Leafs have a goaltending duo that first Wool started his second in a row. I was like, please be careful with that man. But
It's so you can get Stallers in Florida on Wednesday.
Of course. But it's also please be careful with that man. You don't want to play him too
And an
much.
extended break.
But I think it's kind of cool that they have confidence in both. That is the first time in a long time.
One of the LFR questions was, this is the best Leafs goalie tandem since who? And I had a really hard time coming up with an answer. Because, like, someone was like...
Potvin, Damian Rhodes?
Well...
Like, where are we talking here?
Like, someone went Joseph Schwab. And I'm like, well,
Corey Schwab.
That's not a tandem.
Oh, Curtis Joseph.
That's
I
Joseph.
thought they had... It has been that long. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Curtis Joseph, Corey Schwab, like... That's a situation where a dude was supposed to play like 70 games or whatever, and I think he got hurt, and Corey Schwab had to play some. Like, okay, tandem, Reimer, Scrivens. Well, no, that was another situation where Reimer got hurt and Scrivens had to play more games. Anderson, Campbell, both guys had really good stints with the Leafs.
But never together.
Never together at the same time. Okay, we can't really go with them. Do we go back to... Someone said Belfour Telquist, which, no. What? No.
No.
Like, you might literally... There was a very brief period. It was Joseph and Potvin.
Yeah, that was like 6 games, though.
It was 5 seconds. You might earnestly... Like, it's not Potvin Fuhrer. So now we're starting to
Well, that's why I said Potvin, Damian Rhodes. Like, I
liked Damian Rhodes, so it could be... Like, the one I didn't want to say in LFR, because I'm like, people are going to think I'm kidding. Or the most ridiculous human being ever. Like, Bauer Sawchuk.
Well...
Like, no.
It's not been good.
We're talking about two goalies who are playing... Like, they're putting up top 10 goalie in the league numbers.
So let me give you this. Damian Rhodes had a .902 save percentage in 22 games in 93-94, backing up Felix Potvin. And that is not dead puck era yet, right? That was 93-94 was very high scoring. Yeah, so you imagine, and I think that year or the year after, Felix Potvin saw the most shots against in the NHL. This is how bad Leafs defense regularly is. Felix had a .907 in 66 games that year. So And then, Damien Rhodes continued the next year, 13 games, 916 save percentage. The next year after that, 11 games, 904 save percentage. So this is a guy that I actually think it's Potvin Rhodes.
If you're asking from pure numbers, pure save percentage, the answer is Reimer Scrivens.
Wow.
Yeah.
If we're going the 13 season, Reimer Scrivens, Reimer was a 924.
Okay.
And Scrivens was a 950.
Yeah, you know what? You should trade for a starter the next year, yeah.
Reimer, that's in 31 games started. Scrivens was in 17 games started.
There you go.
924 and 950.
That's
So
amazing.
pure, we know the context
Yeah.
of everything
Yeah.
that happened in 13.
Yeah.
But if we're translating save percentage, it's those two.
But like Stoller's wool blows their numbers out of the water,
Yeah.
right? So they have to keep it up in order for this to even be a conversation. Wool's played like 7 or 8 games. But like every night, the blood pressure's nice and low. Like it's to the point where the only reason to care who the Leafs are starting is for fantasy. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I don't. Stolarz is really good. I like him a lot.
Yeah.
Wool's really good. I like him a lot. All right. Like I do not care.
Yeah.
I don't care who's starting.
Yep. And that's nice.
It's been a very long time since that's been the case.
And Steve, you're wondering the next season when they trade for a starting goaltender. Bernier and Reimer weren't too bad either. 922 for Bernier and a 911 for James Reimer.
No one remembers that Bernier was actually pretty good when he started,
Fantastic.
but that team fell off I think that was
which
was the 18-wheeler? No, the 18-wheeler was, dude, they were so shit.
we don't need to.
I know.
We don't need to. They were bad. Okay, moving on.
Oh.
rest of the
I just
team
don't
was
want.
so
I don't want to go back there. I can't. I simply can't.
I don't know.
I simply
I think
can't
it's fun.
yuck my own yum.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're doing. Why would we go back? It's like, I'm in such a great relationship. I need to think about my ex.
McElhaney and Anderson. Anderson was a 918. McElhaney was a 914.
Oh, wow.
That might
Great, Tim.
be the answer.
That's 16, 17.
And next year, they were like, hey, you know what, Curtis? Get out of here. Why
Get
don't you
out.
go join the Lightning? What have they ever done?
How about this one? In 17-18, Anderson is a 918. McElhaney is a 934.
He was so
Wow.
That's
good.
probably the best one.
He was so, but that, like, again, I wouldn't call that a tandem at all. Like, that's Anderson and McElhaney starts every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, this is,
I think you got 15 games.
they haven't split it like this for a long time.
Right. A true 1-2.
That's why I went back to Bauer
A and
Sawchuk.
B.
Because, like, they're like, okay, we have 2 former Vezina winners. We're going to have them split it. Also, they're old as shit. Like, they're so old. And let's win a cup. The Leafs are weird, man.
It's the other thing I wanted to mention from the game last night specifically was Lawson Krause trying to start a fight after one of the goals, and Simon Benoit jumping in and going, okay, fight me then. And Lawson Krause backing down.
Yep.
And that is not the first time that's happened this year. It happened against Montreal too. David Savard backed down from a fight.
Yes.
And it looked pretty soft. Now David Savard doesn't fight, but he's the body to fight. He's a tree trunk.
Now, there's a little bit of context here that a lot of Leaf fans might have missed.
Okay.
And Andre Tourigny.
Torigny.
Is it Tourigny?
No, I just said
Oh, I know it's spelled Tourigny, but every time I said it in the video yesterday, something in my brain went, nope.
That's not
Incorrect.
it.
But I had to override it and be like, it's like when you still have a word underlined in red, Microsoft Word. Nope, leave it. He had that timeout, and it was because they were getting scored on and everything. But earlier this week, you think it was still less than a week ago, Tom Wilson, who's a great player, but every now and then reminds you he's a little psycho.
Yeah.
He got into like a grappling match with Krause where Krause is on the ground and he like slammed that dude's head into the ice like 3 times. It was bad. Like I'm surprised. I'd be more surprised that nothing came of it if it weren't the NHL, although we should give them their player safety video props a little later in this episode. So that's Krause getting smacked around and Utah not really doing anything about it. Now it is Tom Wilson. It's a really tough customer. Last night's Leafs lineup didn't have that. But I think part of the reason we saw it get so chippy and nasty is because Utah is not just struggling to put like wins together here; they're getting pushed around, and they can't have that. So that's why I think all that happened last night. But
Well, if you're going to start a fight,
you should start a fight.
If you're going to start a fight, you should be ready to fight. And I understand not wanting to do it. I completely get it.
Well, and that's not a great trade either.
No, it's not.
Especially in a game that
Benoit
you're
Krause?
losing.
Yeah, no.
In a game that you're losing, that's not a great trade.
But what I liked about it, forget about the Lawson Krause angle for a second here and the history there. I liked that the Leafs stood up, and it didn't have to be a star player.
They're totally different.
It was just, was like, oh, wait a second. And it goes back to Matthew Nye saying to whoever it was. Pasternak, go me. And then Pasternak turning away going, and then Matthew Nye's going, I knew you wouldn't.
That's what I thought.
And that is something that never used to happen. There is an attitude with this team, and you can see the confidence, and it allows.
What happened next round, by the way?
What? With the.
Pasternak.
I don't know.
He fought Matthew Tkachuk.
And?
Well, I think, like, obviously the Bruins win that series. Obviously, he scores the Game 7 overtime winner. He's feeling really good about himself. But
he's thinking about it?
He backed down from a fight.
Yeah.
He didn't back down from that one. Now, you take Matthew Tkachuk off the ice, it's a little different than taking Matthew Nyes off the ice, especially a really young one. But I just wonder if there was a little something in the back of his head after that.
Oh, well, maybe. I think, speaking of the Leafs, though, I just want to get to the point where, you talk about Mitch having an edge to his game. Well, he can now. He's allowed to. If you know that you've got guys who are going to step in and go, no. No way.
And not a designated, like, bodyguard.
Right, who can't keep up with the big stars. Like, no offense to Kyle Clifford, but he was never going to get more than 7 or 8 minutes a night.
Dude, it was 5 or 6 years where they were like, we're tough now. This one person is why we're tough. Nope. It's the whole damn lineup. It's a bad time.
The other thing I think is worth mentioning is that obviously we know, and we gave our flowers to the Tanev McCabe pairing, right? But I thought this was interesting as well. Kevin Papetti tweeted, Connor Timmins has been on for less 5-on-5 goals against per minute than any other defenseman in the league this season. Benoit is second. And the McCabe-Tanev pair is also shutting down lines night after night. It's nice to have two pairs that are playing shutdown minutes. And listen, are those minutes the same as McCabe-Tanev? No. But do they need to be?
When Hakanpää's back, OEL is the one who sits.
Yeah, right.
No, zero shot.
Isn't it great that, like, I think it's very interesting how this is all played out. And there were people at the beginning of the year who were ready to, well, Benoit's clearly the guy that's got to go if Timmins is in or whatever. I think he's done his role right. I just want him to take less stick penalties.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And I mean, that's a bad thing, but it's also early in the season and they'll slowly go away. And all of a sudden, Benoit's really upped his game. No, just change the rules. Just change the rules. It's okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't be happier with how this Leafs team is playing on the back end.
The only thing with that is that Yanni Hakanpää is really good at hockey.
Yeah.
And he's got to find a way into this lineup.
Man, when people were questioning that, like, okay, the skepticism because of the injury, I totally understood. But when I saw like a little like a notion out there, like, do they need this player? I'm like, okay, you don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, he's very useful.
I think
he's exclusively desired by the best defensive teams in hockey. That should be our first clue.
Connor Timmins has been the surprise, though.
Oh yeah. My God, I'm shocked.
He's been great. He's been phenomenal.
I thought if he was going to get in the lineup, all right, he's going to be scoring like a third of a point, something ish per game. Second power play unit, and he's going to drive you nuts, and he's going to cost your team a goal every game or two, and you take the good with the bad. No, that's just a straight up good defenseman. It's just a straight up all around good defenseman.
Yeah.
Like, how many times this season have you been like, Connor, that was dumb?
Once or twice, max. That penalty he took last week where he wrapped a guy at the end of the game.
Everyone does that.
Yeah, it was emotion.
Willie does that.
It was a stupid penalty, though.
Yeah.
You're asking me.
Sure.
If I yelled at the TV, I yelled it a little bit.
But like last year, like in years past with Keefe as his coach, and I'm not blaming it on Keefe, but it's obvious something has changed here. you would at least once a week get a decision from him where it's like, have you ever watched a hockey game? Like it like just so mystifying. And it's like, dude, you're not a dumb player. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And now he's just a solid contributing member of society. Like, dude, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's just
makes
a
it
real
impossible
solid-
for Berube to take him out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going to be when we go back to what the forwards are going to do. And we talked about this. There's, 7 guys out, 6 with injury, 1 with Ryan Reeves suspension. What those guys have to do to stay in the lineup is what Connor Timmins has done, which is I am going to make it physically impossible for you to remove me from this. You cannot remove me.
I want to know, I don't know enough about the Blues. Like, did Berube ever go 11-7 with them for an extended period of time? Because I mean, we talked about the bottom 6 and can they score? And I just wonder if 11-7 makes sense for this team. They have 7 defensemen playing well. And the bottom 6.
It's never worked for anybody.
It's
I don't
rare.
know. It just seems
rare.
like a fun theory.
Is there something to, it's November?
Yeah, I guess you can. I don't know.
know.
The 11-7 thing just does not excite me anymore. You can't get me to move for that. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, so they'll dress another depth defenseman.
There's nothing
Man,
wrong with throwing 1,000 different forwards out there, and Benoit and Hakanpää and everyone's nice and they're just nice and rested.
Yeah, sure.
They're just nice and rested. There's nothing wrong.
I'm on Steve's side in that I kind of like 11-7 with this Leafs team because I feel like you have 7 good defensemen.
Yeah. Do you have 12 good forwards?
That's why you go 11.
Yeah. No, I know.
What?
No. Because to me, that's a big part of it. Is okay. Not only do you have 7 good defensemen, but also dude, who genuinely, but respectfully, who are these guys?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. It's the Marlies. Like, they literally played the Marlies line last night. Like, I feel like if you have 7 good defensemen and 11 good forwards, why not? Especially because, the big guys, that's if you want to double shift Matthews or Nylander or Marner, that's what they're there for. They have the legs for it. They're in their prime of their career. Use them the hell out.
Is this a dickhead question to ask? Because they're playing so well. I think they're 7-1 without Matthews. Let's say Matthews comes back Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna get shit kicked Wednesday.
Probably.
That's
You think
how
so?
it works. Yeah, I think that's a schedule loss.
So that wasn't what I was going to ask, but I also agree.
Sorry.
You never know.
Yeah.
Matthews goes in. Who comes out? Someone has to.
Out of the Ford group,
Yeah.
one of the kids.
Wait, you think? Sorry, you guys.
Gurbenkian's easily.
You think
I think
Wednesday they're going to get killed?
That's unfortunately the answer.
Yeah, Wednesday. I don't know if they're going to get killed, but I think Wednesday's it's a prime schedule loss.
Wow.
Usually schedule losses are second half of back-to-back with travel and all that stuff. But this Leafs team, I think, is a trap game for the mentality of this team.
I really hope whether they win or lose, it's competitive because if you're the Panthers, you're like, oh, so you're in first. Cool. We're gonna literally eat your flesh.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the thing that the Leafs need to prove is that you can't. And I'm wondering when the Leafs are going to stop being pretenders to the throne and actually go for it. And this seems to be the season where they've got the toughness to do it, along with the finesse. If they get in there and the Panthers kill them 6-1 or something like that, or even 4-1, I'm going to be really disappointed because I think. This game matters. This game matters a lot. This is first in the division. This is a team that won the Stanley Cup. They are standing between you and everything that you want. Are you fucking serious? You can't get up for that?
I'm tempted to take a play out of Paul Maurice's book and say, fuck the plays. I think it has real potential to be a messy game.
Should be mean. Yeah. Well, and I think it's like it should be one of those that goes, Sam Bennett, you looked at me wrong. Gloves are off. It's gonna be one of those.
What? There's all these hungry players. Oh, so you want to be in the NHL? Prove it.
Good point.
Good point. I think Gurbenkian or Steves, they're easily the first man out if Matthews back Wednesday.
But in a game like the one we just described, I want to see Gurbenkian.
Yeah, but it's for Matthews.
I know.
It's for Austin.
I know.
What are you?
No, but then
what are we arguing?
Man, why can't we see a guy who's at least a 60 overall?
Damn it! Put Gurbenkian in over Matthews.
No, but he's a
Top 5
shithead.
center in the league, guy who's a 60
No, he's a
overall in
shithead.
NHL.
I want to see the
That's what
shithead.
Benoit's for.
I want the shithead.
That's what Benoit's for. With the Florida Panthers, quietly, they've lost 5 of their last 6 games.
Damn.
They got their lunch money handed to them on Saturday by the Colorado Avalanche 7-4. They haven't been good lately. They play Washington tonight in Florida, so they're sitting at home. They got this game. They're going to be up and ready. They're playing a really good team. Let's see how tonight goes. But I think Wednesday, Leafs, they've played 1 hockey game in a week come that Wednesday. They've been sitting around. They're in Florida for a couple days. I think they fly out tonight or Tuesday morning. So it feels like they come out and they're competitive, but they lose a close game is how I would look at it.
The league is so wide open this year. Like everyone's been through a slump. It feels like the Panthers. What did you say? They lost 5 of 6.
Lost 5 of their last 6 games.
The Rangers just came out today. Like they're looking at making moves and they're pissed off. And the Predators are so disappointing. And the points that separate like 4th or 5th from like 2nd or 3rd last.
It's nothing.
Both conferences it's crazy. I know it's really early in the season, but like other than like who do we got? The Jets.
By the way, did you mention
Like
the
who's
Sabres?
pulling away?
The Jets.
The Sabres are
they're
doing
in a playoff
great.
spot,
They're in 3rd.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm starting to lean towards CJ's mentality of the standings don't matter until like January. Like everybody's so close. Like what are
Yeah, you know
what are the
what's, you know what's
standings?
cool about that? Nothing. Both of you are nerds. Enough of that. I care about it right now, and I care about it every single day throughout. You know why?
How about
because that's all I fucking have.
How about
right?
January's a month away?
You guys can all you and CJ can be calm and cool and collected. I choose to be extremely reactive.
I think the individual performances of the teams matter, but in terms of where they sit in the standings,
I know.
like
I know. I'm just giving
3
you guys
points
upset.
out of first or 3 points out of last. What do you make of that?
It just seems like
I agree.
Like everything I read about nearly every team is almost every team in the league is miserable.
Yeah,
It's true.
Nothing's going anybody's
No.
way.
It's true.
except for the Jets.
The Jets,
Except for the Jets.
but they've lost 3 games in the last couple weeks, guys.
After they won
Double embarrassment.
400 in a row.
I know. They have 17 wins.
And the
So
Minnesota Wild, if Kaprizov could have stayed healthy and upright, but that sucks for them. But he's only day to day, which is awesome. But they don't have a lot to complain about.
No.
The Capitals, they were riding high, and then Ovechkin goes out, so that's their injury to complain about. And the Leafs playing really well; they got injuries to complain about. So every team that's actually doing well also has injuries, except for the Jets, who are just happy.
I want to come back to this because I don't want you to go too far into any of that. There's some scores this weekend that have created some talk. But the first thing I do want to mention a couple things on the Leafs. First off,
Before you do that, do you want to do the big story?
oh yeah, I guess we should. So guys, this is something that I have been holding back, and the London Knights just tweeted it. But officially today, a year ago, Easton Cowan's point streak began.
Uh-oh. Well,
No,
about to come to an end.
it's a pretty
Thanks,
unbelievable span that he's gone through.
Yep.
And the Knights, you could just tell they're trying not to make it the only thing that they tweet about. But it's and they put some stuff up there with other, they have other players.
No, they're on a 15-game winning streak. They got lots to talk about.
yeah, but
Sure.
the Leafs.
I have a very important question for you.
What is it?
Regarding this point streak. Now, I just mentioned they're on a 15-game winning streak. That 15th win that came, what was it, last night? The night before? Easton Cowan didn't play.
Yes.
Does that still keep the streak? It does officially keep the point streak intact, but is there now an asterisk on the point streak in that it doesn't come in a consecutive streak of games?
I think the answer is absolutely it does if you're the worst.
Yeah. If you suck and you just suck. Yeah, it depends
you
on what you
stink
missed.
and
If he's
smell-
injured, does it count? I don't think an injury.
Yeah, he had a lower body injury.
So
Kept
an
him out of
injury,
the
no.
lineup. But is that really what we're doing? Point streaks?
Yeah, we are.
You get
Jesse.
truncated point streaks where you could. What if he sat out 10 games and then come back and then his point streak's still alive?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, all right.
As long as you're not scratched, right?
I don't know. It depends, Jesse. Are you the worst?
I thought I proposed the question. It didn't happen in consecutive games.
No,
That the London Knights played, it only happened in consecutive games that he played.
If we're gonna play that game, he didn't score every game in the OHL playoffs. last year and Memorial Cup.
It's a regular season streak.
It's a regular season streak.
Yeah.
No. To me, that's a far bigger asterisk than he's hurt.
Right.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So he was gonna match Doug Gilmour's record from 1982-83. It's a 55.
Who's that?
So he's who is that guy? He has matched it.
Oh, okay.
55 straight games with a point. 82-83.
He was on the Devils.
He was with the Cornwall Royal, who do not exist anymore.
Wow.
If he gets 2 points, then he passes him 1 point, whatever. But he didn't play yesterday, so he hasn't technically passed him. And my question to you would be this. Now that we've acknowledged that it's here, being Leaf fans, do you bet on Easton Cowan to match the record? And do you bet on him to pass the record in the next game? Not just match, but
Which
pass. The next game. Whatever they
that
play now.
happens.
The game he plays?
The next game he plays.
When?
Because I don't know because he missed the game. So how would I know that?
I don't know. So is the streak still alive?
You just got to pay attention.
Yeah, well, you do have to pay attention. Exactly.
I would bet on it.
Thank you, Steve.
I would bet on it. But it's only a $2.
Only a $2. Now, the next scheduled game is Friday, November 29th. That's this Friday against our friends, the Frontenacs, in Kingston.
No way.
Slush Puppy Place.
I mean, if he's hurt, you would think his first game back's not a road game, but you never know.
Next home game will be Wednesday, December 4th against Owen Sound.
That's what I got.
That's what you would bet on?
That's well.
Now, is he passing it or is
you
he
have
tying?
to pay attention.
Is he getting one
There's
point
a
or
little
is he
bit of
getting
legwork
two?
that Jesse doesn't feel like doing.
Is he getting a point or is he getting two?
A point.
Jesse.
I say Montreal Canadian great Doug Gilmour has to watch out for his record.
Against his hometown Frontenac.
Easton Cowan's going to beat it.
It would be
Kingston
poetic
be
if
kinda
it's against the
perfect,
Frontenacs.
Yeah.
I wonder, maybe they just scratched him because they're like, no, we want it to happen against Kingston.
No shot. No shot.
Like, so is he going to get spot start?
No.
You know, like, you
Are
gotta,
they load managing Easton Cowan?
against specific teams where he can keep the record going?
Designated hitter. He's on a line with friggin' Lyle overplay.
He only plays against lefties.
Yeah, exactly.
Matt
Anyway,
Stairs.
So listen, it's worth watching. Easton Cowan, history made. Already have a round of applause. It started November 25th last year. It is November 25th this year.
Jesse,
And
why
the
are you
streak is
clapping?
alive.
Why?
He didn't do anything.
Oh, wow.
No, streak ended.
It's tough. Hey, go to betmgm.com/dangle for more. At BetMGM, official betting partner of the NHL in Canada. So I think it's important that we take a little. Well, I want to mention one thing here. Utah had to walk to the arena. We've all seen the video, right?
No, let's play.
I
it.
have
play
not
it?
seen it.
Yeah, what are you talking about? We've
All
all
right.
seen
All
it.
right. Let's do it. Let's play the video.
Okay, hold on.
So if in case you didn't know, Toronto sucks for driving, and we've made it suck for driving in many different ways. But this one in particular really didn't have to do with traffic. This was the Santa Claus parade letting up. And so people making it about traffic today, I'm like, it was a Santa Claus parade, man.
It's good clickbait.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
good
always
clickbait.
friggin' something, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
It is.
Well, it's,
Oh, well, today the fucking fucko whatever let out. Like, dude, it's always goddamn something.
the what?
Oh, Fuckhead and the Martians were playing. So, like,
Well, yeah, because it's a city.
yeah,
So
man.
there's always
Things
something going on. That's
happen.
the
There's
idea.
lots of cities. You can drive in them.
Not really.
But there's
Not
a
really.
Fuckhead and the Martians concert, and it's done.
Well, if Fuckhead and the Martians is Taylor Swift and her band, that was
I was not
300,000
talking
people
about
over
that's a
6
different
nights.
Yeah.
category. No. Taylor Swift, everyone's like, well, obviously Taylor Swift, but it's like a regular Tuesday in friggin' April, and it's Fuckhead and the Martians.
Also, Taylor Swift didn't affect her coming in affected traffic because she got a motorcade from the police. But the concert itself didn't really affect traffic because a lot of people going to the show were out of towners who stayed in Toronto and like took transit.
Yeah.
So like there wasn't
And
a big traffic effect over the last week or so.
Worth mentioning that 750,000 people go to the Santa Claus parade in Toronto. So anybody that's telling you, Oh, it's because of traffic. It's not. There's
No.
almost 1 million people over a 6-kilometer parade.
And you know
route.
where the parade takes place? On the street.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
they need to shut down the road. So, like, yeah, for one time a year, it's a fucking disaster to get to Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's once a year.
Yeah.
That's not.
And you know what's hilarious about
You got a
Steve
point.
making this argument is that like Steve doesn't go downtown. Like
No.
this, our building is not downtown.
No.
No, not
Steve
as-
never.
not
the
for
area
the
we're
show.
talking about,
When
Steve
were you
never
there?
goes.
Not for the show. Whenever I do have to go, well, I just won't do it anymore.
Well, that's clear because can't remember the last time you've been downtown.
I just want, yeah, because
Shoeless
I'm like,
shows.
well,
Shoeless
this,
shows.
Yeah.
this situation, yeah, and I took the train and then walked.
Yeah,
Like, 'cause
super
I'm like,
easy.
well, that situation's untenable. We are like not first world. We are not world class.
well, actually, we are because you took transit and you
Yeah.
walked there. That's first
Talking
world.
about-
World class.
Damn.
Yeah.
I drove.
good.
I
Took me
drove
15
it,
minutes.
I drove and it took me 20.
Yeah.
Like,
Jesse and I live in the same
First of
neighborhood.
all,
It was
that
actually
makes
really
me violent that you said that.
why?
Second of all, I always go back to this lovely Spanish family I encountered.
No, don't.
Outside of, no, I'm doing it.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm doing it.
Damn story.
Oh yeah. What story of mine don't you hate?
I don't know this story.
Yes, you do. Trust
No,
me. Go ahead.
Jesse doesn't.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
here,
Go
so
ahead.
Jesse,
Go ahead.
Please tell me.
there was this family from Spain, and they were talking amongst themselves, and they were saying Spanish, Spanish, Spanish.
Yeah, and
And
you're
then
like,
they-
I hate you. I'm Italian.
Well, hey, I don't get down
Let's
with
go to
soccer
war.
like that. Yeah. So they come to me and they're like, hey,
yeah.
is this? And they point at our shitty, stupid little fucking U that we have for a subway system.
Yeah, line 1.
And they go, hey,
Line 2 goes across.
oh yeah, fucking, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jesus. So they go, fucking piece of shit. They go, is this it? And I tell them, yeah. And they look at each other and they go, Spanish, Spanish, Spanish. And then they look back at me and they go, are you serious? That was his question. He obviously, like, English was not his first language, but he knew, are you serious? And I just laughed and went, yeah.
Our subway system lacks
Fucking
infrastructure.
sucks and is a
It needs to be
mockery.
It needs to be a couple more lines
So,
than
but
it is.
that isn't the problem here,
that's not what we're talking about.
which is my key.
we're talking about traffic.
No, but you got me going.
So
To be fair to Steve, plays into it, I
Yes,
guess, because
sure.
if we had a transit system like New York, where nobody
Anywhere.
drives because their subway system's
Any
so
developed
good,
city anywhere.
there'd be a little bit better.
Yeah.
drive. But there's also a city with great transit where you can't drive anywhere.
yes,
So,
they can't drive anywhere.
what are we talking about?
Yeah.
There's two sides to everything.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway, Utah walked to the rink. Isn't
Let's
that
see.
crazy? Isn't that hilarious? A bunch of people in the best shape of their lives had to walk 40 meters. It's crazy.
All right, here's the video they posted on TikTok.
It is funny.
Walking pregame to get to the rink because there's way too much traffic. The bus was not moving at all. So it's just pretty much the whole team walking the street. 5:15 where meeting is in 1 minute to get there. So I think that's a first for everyone. Never saw that before. Walking pregame
That's it.
to get to the
Good little video.
Yeah. It's good. Social
I definitely
media.
was expecting something like bigger than that.
No.
Just someone politely being like, oh,
Well, they should have. I wish they had. I wish they'd talk to people. Like, is this normal? Like, they
this
gotta have
is
fun with that.
insane. What on? How do you live like this?
you
He's
imagine
on there.
if
That's
that
what
was
I
Steve?
wanted.
Yeah, I know.
Like-
He's out there with a sandwich board, like the reckoning is coming. The devil will repent. Repent. The devil is coming for this traffic.
No, I would have been giving the team shit. I'd be like, yeah, we're on a bus at like 5 o'clock in Toronto. What are you on fucking drugs?
Yeah.
Why did you even think this would work?
Well, I couldn't figure out. There's a lot of hotels in that area. Why didn't they just stay at one close to the thing where they could just walk anyway?
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what you're going to want to do.
Stay at the hotel across from the rink.
Leave your car
Royal
outside
York.
the
I don't
city
know.
limits, set it on fire, and walk. Like, that's what you're going to want to do.
So that happened. But that game, for a lot of teams, brought us to the quarter of the season mark. This weekend, most teams played their 20th or 21st games. A few teams still hovering at like 18 or 19, but we're basically 25% of the way through.
Sure.
And The Athletic came up with a really cool article. Stats to sum up each team, and we're not going to go through all of them, throughout through 25% of the season. And then today, we have some very interesting news from Jesse's favorite team, the New York Rangers. So I want to kind of do this in conjunction. The New York Rangers, Jesse's favorite team.
The Leafs.
Is second favorite team is the New York Rangers. Is that fair?
Yes.
Do the Leafs have a problem with you covering your second favorite team?
Here's what Fried said. In the aftermath of their 6-2 loss to Edmonton on Saturday, the Rangers have made it very clear they are interested in making moves and shaking up their roster. Okay, so they've just lost to the two best scorers of the generation. But they're like, Edmonton is so bad this year, there's no excuse.
I like, you know what? Catchy intro.
Right?
Good job.
Among the names indicated, which name a name. Name someone on the New York Rangers roster.
Jacob Trouba.
Okay, that was the free square. Name the other one. This one blew me away.
Igor Shesterkin.
No.
One. I am assuming one of their vets.
Yes.
Mika Zibanejad.
No. Jesse, name one.
Chris Kreider.
Chris Kreider.
I
to
knew
me, that's like
Chris
Mr.
Kreider.
New York.
I tried to make it interesting.
Oh, you knew already?
I don't understand how trading Chris Kreider makes you a better hockey team.
Depends on what you get back.
Yeah.
What if you get back Connor McDavid?
Yeah.
Well,
what if you call the Oilers and go, do you want our guy?
No.
No, but like I'm just saying, you can make a hockey trade that maybe you think you're upgrading in the position, right? And for the New York Rangers, it's not just about it's all about this season in that they're trying to win now because this is win now mode, but they also have to think about the giant cap crunch that's coming this offseason.
Yes.
So it's Stanley Cup or bust, and I'm actually gonna commend them for doing stuff to win. I live in a market where complacency is okay, and no matter what happens, we're gonna stick with the course. And here's a team that has had Stanley Cup aspirations for the last few seasons because everything is peaking at the same time. And right now in November, they don't feel like they're good enough. So they're thinking about how do we get good enough.
I wanted to give you guys a stat, and this is a blanket stat. It's an easy stat. Two stats. First off, the team that is first in the Metropolitan Division by points percentage is actually fourth, and that's the New Jersey Devils because they played a couple extra games than everybody else because of the series in Czechia. Or is it Finland? It's Czechia.
I don't know.
Anyway.
What was the question?
The global
Europe.
series. They played earlier. Remember, they played earlier, so they got a couple extra games.
Europe.
Let's look at goal differential in the Atlantic Division. There is only one team in the Atlantic with a more than plus, like a double-digit plus.
Got it.
And that's the Leafs. They're plus 12.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Differential. In the Atlantic Division, it's a have-not division.
Yes.
But there are 4 teams with double-digit goal differential in the positive. And what's crazy is the amount. So the Rangers have plus 15. Already that would put them tops of the
Very good.
the Atlantic Division.
And they're mad.
The first place Devils, fourth by points percentage, plus 19.
Wow.
The Washington Capitals have a plus 26. And they can't even score on the power play.
Already?
And the Carolina Hurricanes, who the hell plays for them, are plus 27. And so I look at this and I go, okay, the New York Rangers are 6-4-0 in their last 10, which for the Leafs is like a regular 10 games over the past, half decade. And the Rangers are going, no, screw this. We're done.
Yep.
And to back up Jesse's point, good for you.
Yep.
Here's my question. If Kreider or Trouba are going to go, why didn't Trouba go this summer? And the thing about him not going this summer, I'll answer my own question, is he had trade protection. How would you now move him?
Maybe he's open to it. Maybe like things.
So you're not
change.
open to it in the summer, but you're down in the middle of the fall and you have a brand new baby at home.
Well, you wanted to trade me a few months ago, but it was warm then. Now it's cold.
Now it's cold.
And
and it's cold in this dressing room.
this delays the inevitable trade to Florida.
$8 million this year, $8 million next year. Yeah, Trouba would fit in Florida. Not an easy contract to move.
No.
Trade protection, both of them. 15 team modified no trade list.
Yeah.
The reason the Detroit thing didn't go through, obviously.
It's not a full no trade. Like that's the thing about Trouba is they can move him. There's half the league that they can move him to, and if they want to find a partner, I'm sure they can look through that list of what would that be? Because you got 16,
Yeah.
and find a team.
17.
No?
If it's a 15-team no trade,
Now we got to
17
take out the Rangers too.
Oh,
right?
yeah, take the
Yeah, you can't trade to yourself.
Ah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
You could try.
Damn.
That's sort of what they did.
Damn, I've been had.
No, that's what they
Fair
did
enough.
this summer. They got Jacob Trouba for future consideration.
Own rental.
Own rental.
Chris Kreider really surprised me because I just feel like he's like an identity piece on that team, but maybe no longer.
He's also got the Rangers have two really weird stat lines. Adam Fox is second on their team in scoring. He does not have a goal.
Wow.
17 assists, 0 goals. And that's because Chris Kreider took them all. 9 goals in 19 games, 0 assists. Not one. Nearly 20 games, nearly a quarter of the season.
Wow.
Hasn't even picked up like an accidental secondary assist on nothing.
Wow.
Yeah, but like we know who Chris Kreider is. He's a gamer come playoff time. He's a goal scorer. Panarin's playing out of his mind, but other than that, the roster's turning over. It's Panarin. Fox is second in scoring. He's just setting everybody up. Lafreniere is third. He's not quite having the breakout that I thought he would, but he's still playing very well and he's putting up points. Fourth in scoring is Will Cooley. 15 points in 19 games. Then you get to Zibanejad, who, I'm sorry, he makes too much to be getting 14 points in 19 games. And it's Riley Smith and Capo Caco, and then you get down to Vincent Trocheck, sorry. Philip Hedl hasn't even played all the games, and then you get to Kreider.
Ooh.
It might be time to turn things over a bit.
Right. Might just be a shock to the system type of move.
It might be. I mean,
Well, even them putting that report out there tells me they're warning them.
To Jesse's point, this is inevitable. This is happening eventually, and the Rangers, maybe more than any team past few years, have been so good at finding the moment to pull the trigger and doing it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. That's it's interesting.
That's a big trade, though.
I look at the teams that maybe that they would go to. I wonder if I would assume that all the Canadian teams are on the list, so I'm going to take all of them off.
I was going to suggest Ottawa should want him. But
They should want him. But he might not want Ottawa. And it's not no offense to Ottawa, but like there's a lot of American players that just don't want to play here. And we saw that with Trouba in Winnipeg. He didn't want to be in Canada.
all right, let's get insane. Let's go absolutely out of our minds.
Uh-huh.
Erik Karlsson as a New York Ranger.
You think of Penguins? No.
Let's lose our minds. Let's do it.
That doesn't help them because like the thing they're struggling with is being hard on the forecheck and being hard on their back check and playing a good style of hockey. You know, they're playing too easy.
My new pet project is trying to find a landing spot for Erik Karlsson.
It's honestly
That's a
in the
project.
stars, but not the stars. It's in the stars. It's probably going to happen. But the New York Rangers don't need a puck moving defenseman like Karlsson.
Here's something interesting. Just a thought. I'm looking at numbers here.
You're very right.
What team could benefit from having a defenseman? Well, the Utah has about $8 million in cap space. They could benefit from a warm body, and you probably could get Trouba for like if New York really wants to move the cap hit, the full cap hit. If you take that whole thing, maybe you don't have to pay that much.
Oh, that's interesting, Adam.
Here's another one. The Calgary Flames have $25 million in cap space. And that's a team that blew their Canada.
Yeah.
But they have a shot at the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And Trouba would be a big role on that team.
Yep.
The other team that kind of sticks out that he could make a big impact on, but they're definitely not going to make the playoffs this year is the Chicago Blackhawks. And they could use a guy like that.
The Chicago got loud real quick. Like
Bedard's play has not been like he's not winning faceoffs. He struggled a little bit. He's frustrated. Taylor Hall's getting scratched. Taylor Hall's making $6 million, dude.
I know.
What?
I can't turn on an app without seeing how pissed off Connor Bedard is. He's upset. What if the trade involves Trouba for Hall?
Oh, I thought you meant Trouba for Bedard.
Yeah.
Trouba for Hall would be interesting. But how does that make the Rangers better?
Well,
saves you $2 million. Like,
there's the question. I mean, I was gonna say it could help add offense, but like, this is the problem. And I don't know if everyone's going to like this, but there's more recent evidence that Trouba is good at defense than there is that Taylor Hall is good at offense.
Absolutely.
So, but the problem, if you're moving off an $8 million player, it's not because that player is playing like an $8 million player. You see what I'm saying?
They might be playing like a $5 million player.
Yes. So that's why these deals are a mess. Kreider's, I think, much easier. It's just a real long.
He makes 6.5.
Yeah, it's a real long playoff rental. It's a more palatable cap hit. You know who he is. He's probably better than this. You don't get him if you get him if you need secondary scoring. I think at this point, right? What?
I know a team that needs secondary scoring.
Hey,
I don't think so. But.
Don't get me hot and bothered.
Yeah,
that would be unreal. Hall. Yeah, it's finding a trade partner. It is a minefield, right?
Right.
Like the half the league no trade is difficult.
if you could get them interested in what the program is, though. Like a lot of players never would waive their no trades to go to Edmonton, but then all of a sudden, maybe I would. Yeah. What if you're like Kasperi Kapanen is playing with Connor McDavid? What about Chris Kreider and Connor McDavid?
I mean, that would be much better.
Wouldn't that be cool? Zach Hyman, Chris Kreider, Connor McDavid?
What about Jacob Trouba on the Oilers, man?
Well, okay. If that happens, it'd be kind of nuts. But like, how would Edmonton fit that? What are they sending back?
I don't.
It'd have to be like guys that haven't worked out for them. So the Jeff Skinners of the world, which might give you
not enough.
Well, he's got $3 million on his cap. I'm just trying to figure out.
You start there. It'd be the second time he played for the Rangers. Shout out Kitchener. It's a really
complex,
fun exercise. The boring and therefore most likely answer is Utah. Mm-hmm. But
can I give you one that is a wild card, but probably couldn't happen, but I still want to bring it up?
Islanders.
No.
That'd be crazy.
Islanders would be crazy.
Sorry.
It would be just like Lou to take on some old money too.
Yep.
Old money Lou. But a team that's picking up steam, starting to look like themselves, but could still really
Don't you do it.
And they're missing a right winger for a long time.
Oh, I might not know where you're going here.
What about the Vancouver Canucks?
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going at all. I thought you were going to say the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, they could too. But I think you can sell. I don't know if you can sell them on the Buffalo. Sabres actually look good. So if you could sell them on this month of the Sabres being the real deal. But the Vancouver Canucks went to the second round and took Edmonton to 7 games. Could you sell a Chris Kreider if assuming he has them on the no trade, and we're assuming all Canadian teams? Does Vancouver have the assets to do it? Besser's out for a while.
Vancouver does, I think, yeah. And they have itchy feet.
They're bold.
It's Jim Rutherford, Patrick Allvin. They're willing to do stuff.
Maybe they want another center. I don't know what but he seems to fit in with the super intense guys that used to play with New York, like JT Miller.
I think what we're getting here is it's not easy, but it's definitely doable. And I think there's a market, albeit a very different market, for both those players.
Yeah. And then watch some team comes in and gets them both.
Listen,
both.
Minnesota. I love when the Rangers are in the mix. It's just better drama. Mm-hmm. It's better drama when New York is involved in basically anything sports.
Yes, absolutely. For some, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and for others, it's just a round of dodging questions about your love life and try not to look like you just crawled out of a cave.
What?
It's the holidays. Yay.
Oh,
Yay.
Let's go.
And listen, here's the deal. We can help you with the cave part. We can't help you with the love life or the questions about it.
Oh.
But the cave part, the caveman part, we can clear that up. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra by Manscaped to save your dignity.
It's about your ball.
It is. But it's also about your face. Don't be that family member who shows up solo and scruffy to another holiday gathering. Get your winter overgrowth under control with the Weed Whacker 2.0 and the Lawnmower 5.0 to help you seal the deal this cuffing season. You see?
Cuffing season.
Yeah. So we do face, we do downstairs, and here's the deal. This is a Black Friday deal for you.
Yeah, I don't know how you got so long into this read without mentioning it's Black Friday.
Okay,
Manscaped is participating.
Yeah, and this is great. Okay, so this is crazy. 25% off site-wide.
That's so much percent.
Okay?
It's more than 24.
25%, guys. 25%. And all you have to do to couple that with your free shipping is promo code DANGLE at manscaped.com. 25% off free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Okay? Check it out. Use that promo code. What is it?
Dangle.
At manscaped.com. Black Friday is upon us. Don't let the holiday clouds be upon you. Some other stats that sum up the way teams have played throughout the beginning of the season. For the Anaheim Ducks, this is the first entry from the Athletic thing. A .915 save percentage.
Dose style, baby.
And now we're hearing, well, Edmonton would really love to get their hands on John Gibson. And he's been good, but
The other one? Like, I mean, yeah. But again, like everything with the Oilers comes back to how the hell do they afford it?
yeah. Yep. And also John Gibson. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
I think he could be good there. I do. The problem with Gibson, and I feel like we do this every few months, is it's been so long since he's played for a team worth watching. I say that with every bit of disrespect I can muster.
Gibson also hasn't played this year. I think he's gotten like 4 games.
Yeah. But there's still those rumors circulating. I saw some Edmonton shows.
Yeah, but the idea that Gibson's been good, he hasn't played.
9-15 in 4 games.
Yeah, so
3-0-1.
Yeah, but if you're going to take a risk on a contract,
I know.
come on. You need a double retention to
He's
make
a
that make
backup
sense.
goalie for what is $6 million something?
Lucas Dostal has played. So Reimer played 2 games, but he's not even there anymore. Lucas Dostal. This is so criminal. The Ducks should be arrested. He's 5-6-2. So he's won 5 games, lost 8 of them. .924.
Oh,
In the year of our Lord, 2024.
yep.
To put up a .924 save percentage and lose most of your games is criminal. Go to jail and prison immediately.
$6.4 million a little rich for John Gibson, unless Anaheim can find a way to retain for that. And it's also for not just this season, but 2 seasons after this one. So I don't know. I don't know what you're getting in John Gibson if you're Edmonton.
Now wait.
But you also know that Stuart Skinner is kind of garbage.
Yes. Now wait though. I made a rule last year where we don't acknowledge Leafs Flames rumors.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to get to... Yeah, I was going to
We
do it.
don't. No, we don't acknowledge them. They don't happen. They don't do that.
No.
We don't acknowledge them.
So when someone says, hey, the Leafs talked to the Flames about, just ignore
No,
it.
they didn't. And even if they did, it didn't count. Every phone call the Leafs and Flames have is a waste of time. Because Zadorov was such a great Leaf in Lindholm.
Tanev was going to be...
Tanev, yeah, they nailed it. Had to wait until they took the Flames out of the equation, but they nailed it. The Flames are not grown up enough to do that, if we're to believe the rumors. They don't want to play in the sandbox with Brad Treliving because they're mad and got their feelings hurt and they're not your best friend anymore and you can't come to my birthday. So they're kicking tires on Kadri. Meh.
I'm gonna be honest. It's probably not the best for the audience to just pivot in the middle of talking about Edmonton acquiring John Gibson to a Leafs Flames topic that you won't even describe is happening.
It's probably not best for the audience to cut off your co-host in the middle of the thing.
Yeah, but you didn't. You didn't even describe. But you started this whole thing about I won't even tell you what we're talking about. What do you?
Here.
And then now you're gonna turn, and then now you can explain.
It's okay. Since you were all listening to me, the Flames Leaf stuff we ignore. Adding to that list, John Gibson rumors. We ignore those. Those aren't a thing.
Yeah.
How many years of this are we gonna? 6?
Yeah.
5-6 years of John Gibson rumors?
Sure.
Still a Duck. Have we all noticed he's still a Duck? Oh, well, John Gibson. No, he isn't.
He's going to stay a Duck.
I think the biggest irony is he ends up on the Leafs or Flames. Maybe. But no, we ignore Leafs Flames rumors. And we ignore Gibson rumors.
Okay. All right.
We ignore things that don't happen for half a decade. Enough.
That's fair. Okay. All right.
Can you
I
believe
had
this
no
guy
idea.
interrupted his co-host?
I had no idea what Leafs Flames thing
Doug
you're talking about.
McLean.
So I was sitting here very confused.
So Doug McLean got on some show, and I'm not sure if it's one of the 590 shows or something like that. And he basically said the Leafs had kicked tires on Kadri, which sent Leafs Twitter into a tizzy. And I understand that. Kadri's beloved here. He's a monster when he's not suspended, and he hasn't been suspended in a long time. And it would be an amazing homecoming, and we all want him to come back, and that would be great. But we also understand that, this is the same Flames team that 6 weeks ago was looking to add forward help because of their hot start, right? So any rumors coming out of Calgary generally are
Fart into a balloon.
They don't-
and send it to Alberta.
they really don't mean a whole lot, to be honest. And I got that from last year. This administration they have fires out a ton of shit to the media. It's pretty obvious it's coming from the team. And
Dave Nonis.
And I just think it's crap. But listen, we'd all like to see Kadri back. I think that's the whole thing, Jesse. That's why Steve's like, we ignore them. And I think, you can allow yourself to fantasize for a little bit, but Kadri's now 34. He's still very effective. A lot of years left on that deal. Team already has a lot of deals that are long. I don't think Kadri actually is the fit that we all hope he would be. The Nick Bukestad thing, the more I look into that, the more I go, that might.
He's one of those guys. Who does he play for?
Utah.
Oh, it is Utah?
Yeah.
Dude, he's played for everybody.
He played for everybody. He was Edmonton. But hey, here's the deal, man. Center, third liner, scores 6'6" every time he takes the ice.
Great.
Kadri signed till 2028 for $7 million.
Which is going to be a steal next year, based on where the cap's
it?
going. Well, I mean,
your third most important center?
I think, third line center still, that would be a lot. That'd be a lot.
Yeah.
But you're expecting a elite third liner.
Also, I don't know. Kadri played his way out of here. Like,
Yeah, and I
Kadri-
understood. I understood the reaction though. It was when it came out, Jesse. It was also against the backdrop of the Ryan O'Reilly stuff that James Myrtle had talked about on.
why is
on
Nashville
the radio.
trading Ryan O'Reilly?
Well, I
doesn't
guess he
make
doesn't
sense.
have trade protection and Berube and
Why would they want to make that move?
because they're bad, and they might want to.
Yeah, but you don't get good by moving a guy like Ryan O'Reilly.
This is my point.
No, but you get assets.
Yeah,
But you can parlay. I don't know.
I don't know.
So anyway, long story short, that is, I think that's interesting that some of these trade rumors are coming up, as stupid as they are. As stupid as some of them are. And watch. I swear to God, we'll post this episode and Kadri will get traded to the
Oh,
Leafs.
yeah. They're not stupid in and of themselves.
No, and your reaction to them isn't stupid. That's not my
No,
point.
they're
It's like,
stupid because of the teams involved. The Ducks aren't trading that player.
Can't trade that player.
And the Flames might trade that player. Ain't going to be the Leafs.
You know what? You know where John Gibson would make a lot of sense? Pittsburgh.
Oh,
Give him Tristan Jarry.
I heard
Salaries basically match.
I heard Dubas kicked tires on him years ago.
Yeah, he did.
It was a long time ago, though.
He did. And they need to start scoring some goals. So we'll fast forward a little bit through some of the other stuff I had. I think we got to talk about this is way back, but the NHL Department of Player Safety actually put out a video explaining why the hit on Matthew Nyes, which happened on Wednesday night last week, was not in fact illegal. And that's by the NHL rules.
Yes.
And I just think it's interesting that they also made an appearance on Amazon's Canadian coverage, not in the States, Canadian coverage on Thursday night. That show with Andrew Petrello that goes in and out. It's like Red Zone, right? It goes in and out, in and out. I think it's interesting because it seems as though somebodies were tired of the media criticism and they wanted to answer, and not just the media criticism. I'm talking about social media criticism. I'm talking about not us on this show or any other show.
I am.
I'm talking about people who are losing their minds, who have, hey, my Twitter account name is John56378, and I think you guys are idiots. And I think they kind of got tired of it.
I am absolutely conceited enough to think we had something to do.
I don't think we did. I think it was around the league fans have been on these guys.
Yes. There was a little bit of language, though, in the video where I'm like, you watched. Someone watched.
What was it?
We should play it.
We should play it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we can't show the
Just
footage.
the sound here. Department of Player Safety. The title of the video is Player Safety Examines Rule 48, a legal check to the head. And I honestly think Steve's right about us having an effect on this, or Steve having an effect on this.
Really?
We were pretty adamant against it, you and I, Adam.
Over the last 2
Was there a line in the video that made you think it was us?
No line stood out. Just the whole idea and concept of it.
I'll flag it when we hear it.
Sure.
Over the last 2 weeks, the Department of Player Safety has reviewed dozens of plays for potential supplementary discipline. During that time, we have issued 2 suspensions for violations of Rule 48, the illegal check to the head rule. On November 7th, Tanner Jeannot delivered this illegal check to the head of Canucks forward Brock Besser.
It's bad.
Then on November 16th, Ryan Reeves delivered this illegal check to the head of Oilers defenseman Darnell Nurse.
It's worse.
On November 20th, Vegas defenseman Zach Whitecloud delivered a hit on Toronto forward Matthew Nyes that was reviewed by NHL hockey operations and the on-ice officials in-game for a major penalty, and was reduced to no penalty. In light of the similarities and differences among these 3 plays
Recording this in
and
his
their
car.
relatively high-profile nature,
Who did the audio for?
Oh.
They definitely.
Call us for that at least.
So, one thing I knew for certain
Yeah.
is if we ever got a video like this, they were going to hack and slash the hell out of it, and guaranteed this is like at least the second draft.
Oh my God.
They made it and they said, not good enough. You got to re-record this part. And that's why some of it sounds like it's in a studio and some of it sounds like someone kneeled over a couch into their iPhone, which I have done.
It's just the immediate switch you can hear. It's disgusting.
It's okay. It's okay.
They did the video. They did it.
It's your first time. It's fine. It's fine.
and was reduced to no penalty. In light of the similarities and differences among these 3 plays and their relatively high-profile nature, we want to take this opportunity to demonstrate some of the nuances that our department examines when we are reviewing hits that involve
What's wrong?
That was the word. Their high-profile nature. Because what I have said is, because people go, well, what are they going to do? A video for every hit that
We've
doesn't
said
get
that.
suspended?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
We've said that.
Yeah, well, what are they going to do? And I go, no, just the ones everyone's talking about.
The Leafs ones.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not to be an asshole about it, but
No,
like,
there's 3 hits they're talking about here. Two of them are from Leafs games.
2 of them are
and
Leafs
the
games.
other one only comes into play because you're comparing it with the Leafs hits.
But this is a golden. I think we were going to get a video for this incident, or we were never ever going to get one ever, because Reeves got suspended, hit to the head. Was it the next game? This happens, hit to the head, no suspension, no penalty, even
Clean hit.
right. And people were like, "Okay, there's obviously a difference here. Walk us through, though." Like, because they're similar enough that we're like, oh shit, one guy got 5 games, this guy got 0 minutes. What happened here? And it just so happened to be the Leafs. If this was Utah or friggin', I don't know, whoever,
No.
we probably don't get it.
No.
But
I agree.
Yeah. This happened. The first one happened Saturday night, like hockey night in Canada.
yes, and
know?
everyone was talking about it.
Yeah.
And then the next game happens. Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it or hate it, Leaf fans make up a big swath of your fan base.
Hate it.
And talk to us like we're grown-ups. This is when this happened in the LFR video, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to yell and scream that the NHL's stupid. They made the wrong call here and they're stupid. I'm not going to do that. Help me.
You do that a lot.
I do that. And people expected me to do it, and I didn't do it. Because I'm like, listen, okay. Like, you've been around the game for a long time. Here's what I hated. Oh, it's obvious. The reason it wasn't called and the reason they don't have to explain themselves is it's obvious. Meanwhile, you go on social media, Mike Johnston, former Leaf, TSN employee, goes, that's not a penalty. And then Carlo Koliakovo, former Leaf, TSN employee, goes, how is that nothing? They're two former NHL players and two former guys who played for the team in question who have wildly different opinions on the matter. So no, actually, it's not obvious.
Yeah.
It's arrogant and insulting to think that it's obvious.
There's a lot of people, when these things happen, they take a clear side of it. This is illegal. This is
And
clean.
usually-
and it's never like that. It's usually muddied because nobody really knows the rules.
And it's obvious to you, but
Yeah.
it's obvious that there's thousands of people
Who believe
that it's
both
not
sides.
obvious to. So let's talk about it.
Have you ever heard?
No,
Have you ever heard this? The way this is.
I've never heard anything
It's a
that wasn't
history
my
thing.
own voice.
But and it's going to sound far-fetched, and it is. But there's a saying that in history where it's how you feel about the French Revolution is how you vote.
Adam.
And I find it funny that a lot of the times the way people feel about this stuff, it comes down to like there's that sort of feel. Like, what team are you on? Not how you vote, but like what team are you on? Are you on the woke wimpy team?
Oh, you're
that doesn't
pro
like
getting rid of all hits?
yeah.
Then?
Or it's I've been watching since the 70s, and I smoke cigarettes out of my butt with my dad in the garage. Like
That's not how you smoke them.
well, that's what the bot told me. So my point is, it got to a level that was so polarizing with fans that the NHL player safety said, we gotta bring some safety to the masses, and we gotta explain ourselves. And I think
Please do.
it's a good thing.
Yes, it is.
But I also think it shows how little consistency they've had to this point. And now,
well, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
and now we have something to hold them to, which is a dangerous Sorry, I'll shut up.
You're absolutely right. Here, let's keep going.
Okay, let's play the video. Let me go back a little.
I want to talk a little bit about the Flames and the Leafs.
Go ahead.
But I'm not going to tell you what I'm talking about because context isn't good for a show.
No, we ignore it.
It's not.
In light of the similarities and differences among these three plays and their relatively high-profile nature, we want to take this opportunity to demonstrate some of the nuances that our department examines when we are reviewing hits that involve contact with the head.
Here's how the sausage is made.
To begin, let's review Rule 48,
They got
which
to
reads in
another
part,
room.
a hit resulting in contact with an opponent's head where the head was the main point of contact and such contact to the head was avoidable is not permitted. This means there are two aspects to an illegal check.
No.
What?
So people keep going, here's the rule. Thanks, I can read. Walk me through the rule, though.
Yeah, I think they have to set up the rule first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They were getting to that.
I'm not insulting them. I'm insulting the people who go here. And I'm like, no, it's not that simple, actually. It helps to have video, and here's the NHL going, here's an oasis in the desert.
Where the head was the main point of contact and such contact to the head was avoidable is not permitted. This means there are two aspects to an illegal check to the head, both of which must be present for the hit to be illegal. First, the head must be the main point of contact of the hit. While the term principal point of contact used to appear in the rule, the wording of the rule was changed in 2013 to main point of contact to better reflect the intention of the rule and the way the players understood it.
There was a change to the
This
rule.
means it does not matter what part of the player was impacted first. What matters is what part of the player absorbed the majority of the impact
main
of the hit. Let's look at the video examples. On this hit by Jeannot, while contact is made simultaneously with the head and body, it is clear to us that Besser's head absorbs the majority of the impact of this hit. Jeannot's arm does contact Besser's body, but Jeannot's shoulder cap is driven directly into the chin of Besser with force. On this hit by Reeves on Nurse, Reeves makes minimal contact with Nurse's body, and the head absorbs the brunt of the impact. Note the way Nurse's head moves independently of his body in absorbing the force of this hit.
You can't help it.
On the hit by White Cloud hits through the body of Nyes. While there is inarguably head contact here, we see Nyes' entire body stopped in its tracks and driven backwards simultaneously with his head, in a way that indicates the body absorbed the force of this check. If we determine the head is not the main point of contact, the review ends there and the hit is considered legal within the framework of the rule. If the hit is determined to make the head the main point of contact, we must then contemplate whether the head was avoidable or not. The text of the rule explains multiple reasons why head contact might be considered unavoidable on a play. As both the Janot and Reeves hits were deemed illegal for the same reason, having poor timing or poor angle of approach, this video will focus predominantly on this aspect of the rule. But remember that head contact can be unavoidable for other reasons, including movements made immediately prior to contact. For a more complete analysis of unavoidable head contact, please refer to our 2018 video on NHL.com entitled Player Safety Examines Unavoidable Head Contact.
The rules don't change that.
I know,
much.
but update it.
No. But
let's look at some examples.
Pause for a sec. So one of the main things, this video helps eliminate so many tired and exhausting, and now because of this video, irrelevant arguments that we see with hits. Oh, he hit the shoulder first and it rode up. Doesn't fucking matter. If the main point of contact is the head, it doesn't matter if you hit him in the friggin' knee first.
Yep.
The main point of contact was the head, beginning, middle, end.
Yep.
There it is.
Both of the hits by Janot and Reeves are excellent examples of players who took a poor angle of approach, causing them to pick the head. Both players cut along the front of their opponent's core rather than hitting directly through their opponent's shoulder or chest, which causes the contact to be directly and forcefully with their opponent's head. Conversely, White Cloud takes a good angle of approach, stepping up directly through Nyes' core. And while White Cloud does come up off the ice due to the force of the contact of the hit, he does not elevate up excessively or unnecessarily to pick the head as he delivers the check. This means that the head contact on this play is considered unavoidable head contact on a play where the hitter is throwing an otherwise legal full body check. To summarize, remember that both elements of the illegal check to the head rule must be met in order for a play to be deemed illegal. When analyzing an illegal check to the head, first determine if the head absorbed the brunt of the impact of the check, then consider if the head contact was avoidable or unavoidable. If the head was the main point of contact and the head contact is deemed avoidable, it is an illegal check to the head. At this point, the Department of Player Safety will weigh other factors such as the force of the hit, the predatory nature of the hit, any injury that might be suffered on the play, and the hitter's disciplinary history in assessing the length of a possible suspension.
No high sticking, though.
No high sticking.
Not in this instance.
That video,
That helped a lot.
audio transitions aside, is so well done.
Yeah.
It helped so much. And did it change my mind on the hit? Yeah. Like, it changed my mind on the call that was made, or rather not made, or no, they made a call. They reviewed it, said no penalty. Now, if you still don't like that hit, I get it. Because Nyes, his head wasn't the main point of contact. Holy shit, it took a lot of contact. And if you would like to see that sort of hit taken out of the game, I totally understand that point of view. However, it's still here.
That is a different conversation.
Yes.
If you don't like that hit, then you don't like the rule and how it's laid out. But this, what they've explained is, I love the video because they explain this is the first thing we look at, the main point of contact. And then there's a process from there. It's kind of like a trickle down effect. It's like, okay, was the main contact the head? Yes. Then we go from there and we look at, okay, where was it delivered? Was it predatory? Blah, blah, blah. And that's how they come up with their decisions. It was very well done.
They need to give a raise to whoever was like, you know what? Put in the Janot Besser hit too. So that it's not just about the Leafs.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I want to say is that this is the NHL doing something that I haven't seen them do in a while, which is engaging their hardcore fans on their own terms. Like, this is, you're explaining the rules of a sport that is extremely nuanced to a group of people who are so hardcore and they don't even get it.
They don't,
and
it didn't kill them.
It didn't kill them.
It didn't kill them.
It might in the future. Might in the future, because we can always refer to this now. And that's why they never did this before. Don't put it on tape.
I don't know.
Oh no, they have a standard to be held to.
No, the thing that this whole thing needs to be, like, to put a cap on it, is that what we need to do is say, Steve was right.
Steve,
this is a very good idea, and it made me think about the NBA's 2-minute report that they released at the end of. If you're not familiar, at the end of every game, the last 2 minutes, the NBA publishes an official recount of any missed calls, and they do that for every single game. There was a game the other night where the Raptors lost on the last shot of the game, and Jason Tatum traveled before he made the game-winning shot. Therefore, the Raptors should have won that game. But after every game, the NBA has to review every single call there. And if there's a wrong call, they have to say it. So they had to say in their report, we missed this travel call on the final shot of the game. And from there, they admit we screwed up the final score of a game. Yep. But they are showing accountability to their fans. They're engaging the hardcore fans who look at that play and they're like, you know what? I think he did take an extra step. He traveled. And they're saying, yeah, you're right. You're right that we got this wrong here.
No.
And the NHL's never done something like this.
The better approach is to go,
right.
Wang. Wang.
That's what you've been asking for out of the league that we love. You've been asking for that level of transparency that the NBA already has, with their fans. They treat them like grown-ups, and that the officials are held accountable here. And you've been asking that for the NHL. So kudos to you for fighting for that. And we finally got one thing. One thing.
No, but
I'd love if they did this more now. Great thinking.
Well, and this is so good for the broadcasters too, because they were showing the Sportsnet panel, and it's Sam Constantino, and it's Colby Armstrong, and it's Luke Gazdic. And ultimately, they're giving their opinions, and, Gazdic and Colby Armstrong laid NHL hits in their career. But it's ultimately just them going, well, here's what I think. One time I was sitting in a room at Sportsnet, and Armstrong goes, what'd you think of that play? He turned to me. And I went, what are you asking me for? This is you're Colby Armstrong, right? But we're all just shooting the shit. It's our opinion. Now broadcasters, fans, players, coaches can refer to this video, and the next time there's a hit, they can bring up this video, how it's broken down, and go, here is the league's official stance on this hit, and here's how it can inform their official stance on this one that hasn't happened yet in real life. It's good. This is a good thing. And it also, I think it helps with the discussion. We can now look at this and go, did they enforce the rule properly? I think they did. The one thing where, they say White Cloud, he didn't go excessively upward. I'm like, boy, he got up though. So, but that amount of upward force is allowed. Okay. Now we can have the discussion. Do we want that? Do we want him?
Which is a different conversation.
Yeah, and I'm not
No, and we don't need to do that now.
Right.
But oh my God, I feel heard. I feel valued. I feel spoken with and not at. This is it's not just educating your audience. It's not talking to them like they're grown-ups. It's treating your audience with respect. That's all I ever wanted.
All right, so now the podcast is going to change to a different room.
I'm going to sound like this. I'm going to sound like this.
That's how the NHL wants us to do.
I'm going to record it from my car.
As you can see here, the light of Gotham informed his path on the way to the hit. Hit him really hard, and Ryan Reeves hit Nurse really hard.
We're going to blow people's speakers out.
Now all you fucking Leaf fans can leave me alone.
Hey guys, are you going on vacation this holiday season?
No.
I'm not, but Adam, I know you because you've worked in radio all over the country.
Yes.
So you've experienced this, where you've got to go home for the holidays and that sort of stuff.
Oh, yes.
How was that?
Did you quit your big city job to work at a donut shop?
No. But if you have to go home for Christmas, first off, it's never relaxing. It's not a vacation. People come back and like, oh, do you feel nice, relaxed after the holidays? You're like, no. I feel wound up and I just got off a plane and I smell and I'm tired. But one thing we can stop from happening is roaming fees. We can help you with that. Saily with NordVPN, SAILY from NordVPN. It's an eSIM and it works in 160 countries. Now, if you're from country 161, I'm sorry, we can't help you. But if you're from the other 160 countries, we can. And here's the deal. You won't run out of data at the worst moment. They'll actually notify you when you're at 80% of your data, so you can kind of save yourself. And also with NordVPN security, which is unmatchable, you're protected when you're using free public Wi-Fi, that sort of thing. So if you could buy a plan, like I said, multiple plans in 160 countries, 8 regions available, and the rates are online, you should check it out and use our promo code too. 15% off Saily data plans. Use Dangle at checkout or download the Saily app or go to saily.com/dangle. It's SAILY.com/dangle. That's SAILY.com/dangle. Your family will tire you out. Don't let roaming rates do the same. Last thing, because we do have to get it before we get to all the other stuff that we have to get to.
We're running out of time here.
I know. I think you're gonna have to save this for the
Yeah,
next
we got to do that one.
I think we gotta do that Wednesday. Jim Montgomery, 4 days unemployed. And apparently, Doug Armstrong said to him, well, when somebody drops a delicious meal in my lap, I eat. And that's how he hired him. A 5-year contract. So he got a raise and 5 more years just because the Bruins fired him.
You know what no one cared about in the discourse around, well, when Jim Montgomery's available, you got to hire him. Mm-hmm. Do you see how good Drew Bannister's record with the Blues was last year?
It was pretty good.
Dude, he was like 30-11 or something stupid. He was so good.
Where's he going to go? I feel bad for him.
I don't think he'll be unemployed long.
I hope not.
He shouldn't be. And this year was ho-hum. The team's been ho-hum.
Yeah, but how much of that falls on him?
How much of that falls on him? I don't know. All of it, apparently,
They can't score goals. It's impossible for them to score goals, and Hofer and Binnington haven't been that great.
Mm-hmm. No.
So I don't know how much it falls on him, but I was reading some of the press conference quotes. They had them in The Athletic. They did some great coverage on it. And Armstrong was talking a lot about how we have a rookie. He was a rookie coach,
Yep.
Yeah.
Interim, last season comes in first full year, and there's a learning curve with somebody like Drew Bannister.
Sure.
He said explicitly there are some mistakes he's going to make, and he's made them already, and there's a long learning curve to the point where he gets to be an established head coach like Jim Montgomery.
Right.
And he looked at this and he's like, I can skip all of that. I can get a guy right now who has that experience with the players.
Who I already know and trust.
And who I already love.
Yeah.
And who has a St. Louis connection to, I believe, with his family.
Yes.
So I get to pass through, even though Drew Bannister one day might be miles ahead of Jim Montgomery as a head coach. Ultimate goal,
But right now,
he leaves the Blues to the Stanley Cup. But he said, right now, I can just go get that thing that I hope Bannister lives up to.
Same day shipping.
It's like it's trading away a great first-round pick for somebody who's a star right now. Yes. Is essentially what he did, except from a coaching side of things. Mm-hmm. So I understood his mentality with it. It's just so ruthless.
It is
pretty ruthless. Yep.
It's a copycat league.
Yeah.
And they are not the reigning Stanley Cup champions anymore, but Vegas screwed it up for everyone. Mm-hmm. They did all sorts of horrible, we don't give a damn about you or your legacy or your family stuff, and then immediately won the cup.
They took the Boston Bruins head coach who just got fired. His name was Bruce Cassidy.
Yep.
And then he took them to the Stanley Cup final and they won.
And every team is
really
why are we
regret it.
sitting around here being nice to our players? and that goes for coaches as well. Mm-hmm. Drew, thank you for all your service. Take care.
Yeah.
And oh well.
And the thing about firing the head coach and bringing in a head coach that isn't learning on the job and has all of the experience in the world is now it's on the players. Mm-hmm. If something goes wrong on the ice, it's not a coaching issue. And with Drew Bannister, there's a little bit of okay, how much of this is on he's new to this and how much of it is the players? But now there's no excuses with the players.
And let's also not forget Doug Armstrong's been a GM for a long time. What was the greatest move of his career?
bringing in Craig Berube mid-season.
Fired. Who even was it? What was his name?
It was
Mike Yeo.
Mike Yeo.
Yeah.
Fired him right around now. I'd love to know the date he was fired. It like could have been like to the day. They fired him. They brought in Craig Berube, and they won a cup. Like it might. I mean that.
No, it was January when they did it because they were last place.
No.
Adam, you could not be more wrong, and Steve could not be more right.
You're fucking
November 20th.
Wow.
2018.
So are the St. Louis Blues going to win the cup now?
That's how it works. Wow. They already have Jordan Binnington. They don't even have to call him up.
Damn.
Yeah. Dude.
All right, man.
It's the greatest. How is that not the greatest movies ever made?
No, they literally won the Stanley Cup.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay,
and
this team is the worst in hockey. This one's the best.
Right.
In 2 months. Like, how is that not the best movies ever made?
It's incredible.
There it is.
Okay.
You're welcome.
All right. We'll wrap it there. We're going to wrap it up there. It's a long show.
So,
no, you
all
got
the
it.
stuff I got from Halifax.
And we'll talk about it Wednesday.
You son of a gun!
You got a Leafs
Jesse.
jersey?
Yeah, and you can find out what Leaf jersey it is on Wednesday. Apparently,
Yeah, you can.
Adam is a piece of crap. You're a piece of crap.
My piece of crap?
I love you though.
Love you too, man.
Would you rather a piece of crap or a turd sandwich?
I thought it was a giant douche.
Oh,
and a
it's a
turd
giant
sandwich.
douche or a turd sandwich. I got the South Park reference wrong.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.